Hey folks, welcome back to DCS. Today we're going to be looking at the A-10a on what actually was at the time Enigma's Cold War server still. This was recorded back in like mid-July, so I've been sat on it for quite a while. It's only a short one, so we're just going to use it as a way of talking about how, at least on a Cold War server, the A-10 can actually look after itself pretty well when it doesn't have to face things like radar missiles and all aspect Fox 2s. So we've loaded up with ground ordnance, because obviously that is actually our job, and we're taking off from the front line, which in this case is far further on than any of our fighters can spawn to support us. We are deep in the belly of the beast. We're about 60 miles away from the closest place the friendly fighters can take off from, but only about 20 from the nearest red fighters. So at the time I was kind of hoping that they would all just avoid coming this way because they'd be heading south to beat up where our true front line is. But by spawning here, what I was hoping to do is kind of pierce their front line deeper in order to sort of back cap, if you like, some of the map in order to help our team push through. Because if I cap a zone to the north, the east and the west, our fighters would be able to spawn from the sector that we're currently in instead of like 60 miles south. So I didn't expect to do it in one sortie, but my plan for the session was to just, keep pounding the ground, as it were, until we get a foothold. But inevitably what happened was that Red saw us a sole A-10 at the front line and diverted all of their attention towards it. So for about 5-10 minutes after takeoff, I just flew laps of the airbase and let the SAMs deal with stuff for me. So you just saw the first contender get wiped out by the Rolands. A few minutes later, we've actually started pushing out towards the north in the hope that we can destroy some ground units, and there's another guy coming in already. It's 4 miles hot to our sort of northwest. The shadow just passed underneath us, so we're looking behind. By overshooting me like that, he's put himself into the Roland's range, so 2 of them have launched on him. I don't know why, but he's insanely slow. They both seem to miss, but then he crashes. It's great when the trash takes itself out. So pushing on a little bit. Next closest fighter, or aircraft, is actually a Frogfoot almost 20 miles away, and behind that is a 24 miles away, so I'm thinking I've got a window of opportunity here to do some work. So using the MAV camera, I'm going to zoom in on this outpost and focus anything that looks shilkery, like that shilker. I'm going to ripple off a MAV. We basically just save the Mavericks for the air threats and use the bombs, rockets and the gun for everything else. The Maverick should kill the shilker, which it has done, and then we should be free to, in the same pass, bomb at least 2 of these evil mounds, as Sovereign likes to call them. So that's 1 Mark 82 and 2 Mark 80s out.
Altitude.
They should both die, and they have. We're going to roll around to the left. There's a truck left, and there's a barracks, which you can gun both of, but we're going to try and do it in one run, so we'll probably gun the truck and bomb the barracks. And getting rid of the bombs is good for general survivability because they're obviously quite heavy. So the less weight on the plane, the more manoeuvrable we are, the less fuel we're going to burn, and the easier it is to avoid enemy fighters. So rolling around, the truck is on the far right. From the smokestacks we can see that the wind is blowing to the left, so I'm just going to fire off a burst slightly to the right of the truck, and that should see him on fire. That'll do. And then we'll drop a bomb on this barracks building. That should be that dead. It's on fire at least, so it'll burn down eventually. And then there's another outpost dead ahead, so we're going to switch back to the Mavericks and look for anything shilkery again. Looks like that thing on the far right is a shilker. I foolishly lock with the HUD, and then because I'm so close and it's already actually shooting at me, I didn't want to stick around to check it had locked the correct target. and it actually didn't. It sort of tagged onto the truck in front. So that shulker kind of just used that truck as a meat shield.
Pull up.
And I'm now well within its threat range.
Altitude.
So we're diving, trying to get the speed up and just pulling away. And as we're doing that, I noticed that there's a MiG-21 9 miles away and 3 other fighters within 14 miles. So we ditch all of our ground ordnance and we run back to our friendly base. I do eventually see him after doing a bunch of laps, just turning slow enough that we maintain speed, but fast enough that we dodge any Fox 2s if they were launched at us. There are no all-aspect missiles on this server, it's just rear-aspect heaters and guns, so the A-10 carries a metric butt-ton of flares, especially if it doesn't need chaff. So you're actually quite good at surviving missile shots. And thankfully the enemy are really bad at surviving gunshots, especially if they fly head-on within a foot of you without even noticing that you're there. So that went pretty well. After that, because we dropped all of our ground ordnance, we're obviously not much good as a ground pounder anymore, so there was no point hanging around in hostile lines and potentially getting shredded by shulkers. So we backtracked back to our base to rely on the Rollins for support if we need it. There is a MiG-21 within 5 miles, a Frogfoot within 8, and then 2 follow-ons about 25 miles back. We do have a friendly A-10 in the area of support, which I just spotted, so I'm going to use him to help me find the MiG-21, because obviously if he gets shot at, then we can look for the missile trails and such. So I'm keeping him in view. He's off to the left of the hood right now. Which is also where it says the MiG-21 is on the reports. And there he is. Sun kind of twinkling off him. So he's Fox 2'd on the A-10. We're Fox 2'ing on the MiG-21. He's firing again. It looks like the A-10 just ate 2 missiles. But it's seemingly okay. MiG-21's going down. A-10's still airborne. We'll just follow this guy in case he recovers, but he hasn't. We follow the A-10 back into base to make sure that he actually makes it there, and he does. So whilst he's trying to land, we'll just fly around in case anything else comes in. We've got a MiG-21 10 miles off our left. I can just see him cresting the mountain ridge. So we're going to get low, make it harder for him to see us against the ground. Deny him an R3 shot by getting in the weeds and hiding in the ground clear on his radar. He's diving down to match us. Don't think he's actually seen me yet. We do actually get gun hits there. Looks like it knocked some of his pylons off. I can't tell if he's okay beside that though. So I'm holding the shot for a little bit, because I know he's going to head into a cloud soon and lose viz. Can still just about see his burner, so if we fire now, he's less likely to see the launch, less likely to flare it off, and we get him. So that's 3 MiG-21s downed in an A-10. Who knew that the A-10 was an air superiority fighter? Basically only landing because I need more ammo rather than for any other reason. I think we did get clipped by a shulker at one point, so we'll repair that whilst we're down as well. But then we'll just head straight back out and do the same thing again. Although there is a MiG-21 2 miles hot. Hopefully the Rollins will deal with him. And another one at 7 miles. But that's mission accomplished for us. Or maybe not. What's gone back? But we landed, so it doesn't.